What has caused the world so much pain, so much hurt? Probably caused yourself a lot of pain, a lot of misery, a lot of frustration. The vices, the drugs, the alcohol, the porn, the junk food. There's been countless times in my life where I've drank excessively. Like there's no limit. And I'll just drink and just get to a point where I'm like so out of it. I wake up the next day just like, what was I thinking? And the whole next day was just ruined. But I would do it every weekend. And I didn't know why, but I just wanted to escape. I wanted to have some fun. And it got so out of control that I had to completely stop. Just completely stop drinking. I let that go in like 2021, 2022, somewhere around there. And it just changed my life dramatically. It was causing me so much hurt. It was not only hurting myself mentally, but it was hurting my body physically. Like physically, I just felt like shit. I even had a little bit of fat on me, a little tummy, which I've always been underweight, always been skinny. So that was odd. But the thing is that there's so many things, like we know that it's not good for us. Doing drugs, smoked weed every single day for a year straight, like a high 24/7, to where being sober was like I was high. And being high was like I was sober because I was so used to being high. But it just caused me to just be lazy, not do anything with my life, sit around all day, play video games, eat junk food. And the porn, it's so artificial that we even are able to have that type of an experience, but it's not a natural experience. If you walk around throughout your day, you're not going to see a 10 out of 10s everywhere that you go. You are manufacturing a reality that doesn't actually exist, only in that world. And once we let these things go, the vices, the drugs, the alcohol, the porn, when we let these things go, we realize what we're actually capable of. We realize what we're actually made of. We realize that vice, I refer to it as a demon. That vice is a demon and it's inside you. And when you are so addicted to doing this, or you're caught onto this vice, it's always nudging at you. Maybe not every single day, but maybe every week or every couple weeks. It's just nudging at you, wanting its fix. And when you address it as that and not it as you, then you can fight it and you can win. Look at it as a demon. It's wanting its fix, but you know deep down in your heart, you don't really want that. So you have to refrain from it. And it's difficult. Yes, you're going to have times where you want to binge or fall back into that. But you know what? When your day is so aligned with positive daily habits, like waking up early, doing some reading and reflection, doing a workout, counting your macros, and dropping your vices, mentally being aware that you cannot go back to those things, then you start elevating, you start becoming more aware, and you don't even want to go back to those things. When I was eating junk food and I would work out that day, I would be like, I don't want to eat junk food because I feel good that I just worked out, and I don't want to go throw it away by eating a bunch of junk food and countering out all the actions that I took. So when you start to have that mentality and realize that those vices need to go, when you let go of the drinking, and you've been drinking every weekend with your buddies, you may not think it's a problem. I didn't think it was a problem, but you don't realize what it's actually doing to you. You may not say, you have a problem with your relationship because of it, or your finances, or your business, but it's affecting you mentally. And your people, the people around you, seeing you behave in debauchery or behave in those types of manners that aren't good for you and aren't good for others, like the drugs, the alcohol, the porn, like this is actual debauchery. Like this is actual poor behavior, poor decisions. I'm not going to trust someone if they're doing drugs. I can't trust them. How can you trust them? Yeah, alcohol is a little bit more accepted, but it's another thing that I know is like, no, you can't be involved in excessive drinking and still and tell me that you would be less effective. You cannot tell me that you wouldn't be more effective if you cut that out. If you cut out all the vices, well, what would happen? You would actually be able to take control of yourself and not give in to these things that we all know aren't good for us. You'd actually be in control. You'd have control over your emotions, control over your impulses, over your temptations. These are things that are so important, not just as a human being, but in business, in relationships, in behaving as a human, to be able to control that temptation, not just with the drugs, not just with drinking, but with lust. Thinking, oh, I'm just looking at a computer screen, everything's fine. Well, your girl doesn't like that. Your girl doesn't like it when you look at other girls or you hit on other girls. You think that it just stays on the computer screen? When I'd walk around, I'd be looking at women for their sexual body parts. I'd be like, what category do they fall in terms of profile? Like, this is deep into your subconscious that people don't even realize that's taking place, but they're just so unconscious of it. And they're just okay with it because it brings them pleasure and it brings them fun and it makes them feel like they're alive. But let me tell you, that's not being alive. That's being subject to. Your life is part that. Like, that's darkness. As the more that you become, or the more that you let go of the darkness, the more to the light you turn. And as you turn more to the light, your consciousness opens up and you're able to take in the thoughts that you need to take in to achieve the things that you want to do, to live the life that you want to live, to be the person that you want to be. All these thoughts of darkness, of drugs and alcohol and porn, these thoughts are actually causing you to think in ways that you normally wouldn't think, that are affecting your ability to be a great husband, be a great father, be a great businessman. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's affecting your ability to do that. So once you move away from the darkness, that creates more space for the light. And that's the whole point of life, is to become aware of our oneness with God. And it only comes from getting rid of those vices. So if you don't have a daily process that's going to cause you to elevate and drop those vices, if you're struggling with the drugs, if you're struggling with the alcohol or with the porn, DM me on Instagram, hop on the team, and start getting your daily habits in line. You're going to drop the drugs and alcohol and the porn like that, because now you're doing the actions that are causing you to elevate your energy and no longer be in those lower frequencies to want to dip into those things that you know aren't even going to do anything for you. Now I've been years without drugs and alcohol. I've been about a year without porn, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't even have the thought of even doing those things anymore. Like, it feels so good to exist and be me, because those things weren't me, but I was just caught onto them because it was so fun and instant dopamine, instant pleasure. But the second that you let go, you're going to have the greatest energy, the greatest feelings come to you, because now you're becoming more of the master. You're becoming more of the creator of your life and less the victim. So DM me on Instagram, MichaelVincentMindset.